This is Tom Leffler, inviting you to join us here, where faith meets reason, at the network of Christian Apologetics. And welcome back to the network of Christian Apologetics. Our study today focuses on what is commonly known as a near-death experience. This can be defined as an experience in which a person either comes close to dying or dies in fact, and then comes back with memories of a spiritual or out-of-body experience. In their book, Beyond Death, Exploring the Evidence for Immortality, Dr. Gary Habermas and Dr. J.P. Moreland relate the story of a woman who was pronounced dead in the hospital. A woman who, when resuscitated, reported on having floated above her body during the doctor's efforts to save her. She accurately described the procedures they had used, what the doctors looked like, what they had said, and even the designs on their neckties. In his book, Beyond Death's Door, cardiologist Dr. Maurice Rawlings gave the harrowing account of a man taking a routine stress test for his heart. Suddenly going into cardiac arrest, the man dropped to the floor and died where he fell. As Dr. Rawlings attached a pacemaker, the man began coming in and out of consciousness. "Don't stop," he would plead, "I am in hell." Again and again, as he came to, with a look of abject horror, he would beg, "Don't let me go back. Don't you understand that I am in hell?" Understandably, both the man and Dr. Rawlings soon gave their lives to Christ. While unique to every person, near-death experiences do share some commonalities. As with our first story, many people claim to have viewed their bodies from above, or to have heard themselves pronounced dead. Many times people will corroborate things that would otherwise have been impossible for them to know. Other times people report to being in another location altogether, sometimes in a place of beauty and light, or, as with our second story, being in a place of darkness and despair, a place people will often identify as hell. Sometimes people see a review of their entire lives, including parts they would have rather not relived. Other times people report moving forward through a dark tunnel, some while hearing pleasant sounds, such as beautiful music, others while hearing sounds that are quite disturbing. Some claim to have encountered spiritual beings who help them through the experience. Often these are recognized as loved ones who had previously passed away, while others report to have come upon an obstruction that prevented them from going further. But among the most common characteristics is an encounter with what is almost universally described as a being of light, a being that people most often identify as Jesus Christ. This being, who seems to emanate love and warmth, does not communicate with words, but with thoughts. And it's because of this being that many people don't want to return to their bodies. They do so only because they either feel or are told that they haven't finished their work on earth. And what does this being of light communicate? It is here that near-death experiences lose their commonality. While some people report messages in keeping with the gospel, others report messages that run directly contrary to the teachings of Christ. In the latter category, some people are told that sin is not a problem, or that there is no hell. Other people are told that all religions lead to God, or that everyone goes to heaven regardless of any choice they have made during their lifetimes. What are we to make of these contradictions? Here, it's essential to remember that information from the spirit world should not be automatically accepted as true. Jesus himself said of Satan, "There is no truth in him. When he lies, he speaks his native language, for he is a liar and the father of lies, John 8:44. Or, as the Apostle Paul warned us, for Satan himself masquerades as an angel of light, 2 Corinthians 11:14. It can well be said that any message received from any source, be it material or spiritual, should be tested against the Word of God. As Paul wrote, even if an angel from heaven should preach a gospel other than the one we preach to you, let them be under God's curse. Galatians 1:8. Rather than believing the spirits, the Apostle John advised us to first test the spirits to see whether or not they are from God. Wrote John, every spirit that acknowledges that Jesus Christ has come in the flesh is from God, but every spirit that does not acknowledge Jesus is not from God. 1 John 4:2-3. So, as with all experiences, near-death experiences can be either genuine or counterfeit. They can communicate truth or a lie. They can originate with God or the deceiver. Which brings us to the end of today's NCA broadcast. Thank you for listening. And until next time, always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you to give the reason for the hope that you have. But do this with gentleness and respect.